pitch is looped towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. That is pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston radio personality Lou Blasi.
You know, Louis, I'm just thinking we should have opened up today's show with a little Guy Lombardo music. You know, I mean, it's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to all of our viewers and listeners. Louis, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And tomorrow you have to work all day at the casino, correct?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Okay.
at the sports book.
Yeah. So what do? You take the money?
Actually, I'm supervising tomorrow, so
Supervising the casino.
making sure all the TVs are right. Every TV in the freaking building.
Now, tomorrow's
I think to pull some money for him.
Exactly. Well, first of all, let's say welcome to I'm really, really excited about this. Is kind of like a fun show. It's our last show of the year. Dan Wulkan from Memory Lane Auctions. Dan has been with us since day one. You guys have been with us, Dan.
1968. I
Well,
was -3.
not that long. And this gentleman,
It only feels that way.
really, I've been trying to. I've wanted to get this gentleman on for the last 2 years. Many of you know him, Tracy Martin from Ohio, and Tracy doesn't own a business, but he has probably. I'm gonna go on and say that this is probably one of the best private baseball memorabilia museums in the country. Would you agree with that, Dan? You've seen a lot of them.
Absolutely. I went through his website. Tracy, I went through your website and saw, all the old vintage gloves. And I'll tell you, a lot of the stuff you have, you should get on the list with films, because, letting films borrow this type of stuff and renting it to them, you can piggyback that and build the value if it's in a film.
That's a good point. And Trace, listen to him, because Dan is in the industry. He was in the movie industry, film industry in Hollywood until they escorted him out of the city. But actually, he's making a very, very good point.
Yeah.
What else? Before we start, again, it's been a great year. Lou, we've had a good year. Danny, Tracy, I think we're all blessed.
Man.
That things have been good for us. And Ellen and I and Rico and Lou and even John Mallory, who we miss dearly.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great run with all these people. And
He's fine, by the way.
yeah,
The way you put that.
I know that.
I know for a second.
I did text. I'll tell you what, man, he doesn't come up for air anymore, Louis.
No, I know.
He's got a
Got a lot
girlfriend.
going on.
Yeah, he's got a girlfriend, and boy, that's the end of that. All right, let's start with Tracy. Now, Tracy is going to be with Dan and Lou and myself the whole hour. We're going to talk about Tracy's collection, but we're also going to talk about vintage baseball. Memory Lane has a blockbuster winter. Is it a winter rarities auction? Is that what you're calling
Correct. Yeah. The winter rarities auction. It starts the previews on the 2nd. And then it goes live on the 5th of January.
All right out of the gate, what's the number one lot, Dan?
There's so many lots that are in the auction. I mean, we've got a stellar PSA 8 Cobb, T206 Cobb with a sweet cap back. We've got a PSA 8 bat on shoulder Cobb. We've got multiple Mantle rookies, like a PSA 5, an SGC 5.5. A 51 Bowman Mantle rookie, a Mantle and a 2. It's multiple sets being broken. We'll get into that later if you want, but just some really cool stuff. We have this Marilyn Monroe card that Upper Deck made in their Mystery Cuts product many years ago. And that's a really cool card. It's one of 2, and it's a cut check in the card that's signed to the Beverly Hills Hotel. So a lot of cool stuff.
All right, Trace, let's start with you out of the gate. Obviously we can see what's behind you, but Can you give us a little background? Is how did you amass this unbelievable memorabilia collection, number one, and how did you get into it?
Well, Tom, I thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And Dan and Lou, it's an honor. I started when I was a kid, just like most of us did. 8, 9, 10 years old, and it really started. My uncle Jim, he gave me some baseball cards when I was visiting my grandmother. He was in the service, and that really got me started, interested in it, and I grew up in the Dayton. I was born and raised in Dayton, so an hour north of Cincinnati. And I was watching the Big Red Machine during the 70s and just fell in love with baseball and collecting their cards. And even at home when I was growing up, my room had posters and pennants and hanging on the walls and the ceilings. And it just never stopped. And in the around 1993, I started playing vintage baseball here in the Columbus area. I moved up here for work in 84. And so that sparked my interest in the history of the game, the early days, the 19th century stuff, and the origin, how baseball began, some of the early teams. So I saw the images, and all these great old photographs had equipment, the uniforms, the bats, the gloves, the catcher's equipment. And, that time period in the 80s and 90s where they flooded the baseball card market, it really kind of, was kind of bitter. And I sold some of my cards and started collecting the memorabilia then. And I got this crazy idea to try to put together a collection that would show the history of the game through equipment and evolution, a timeline. Basically, I wanted to find a piece, a uniform, a bat, a glove from every decade as early back as I could. So when I started collecting, it was really, it was easier than it is now. Around in the 90s and
Sure.
thousands, it was a lot easier to find this stuff. Nowadays, it's almost impossible to find an old uniform from the turn of the century. You just, in any kind of grading or quality, it doesn't even have to be a professional uniform. They're just hard to find that stuff. The early gloves, some of the early bats, the baseballs, even the stitching changed. The early days, it was kind of like a lemon peel, and they were all handmade back before they started manufacturing it. So Albert Spalding did Boston Red Stockings. When he retired from baseball, him and his brother started Spalding Sporting Goods. He had this vision to supply the professional baseball with all the equipment, and he built an empire from that. So that's when they started really manufacturing the equipment.
And you started, over time, you started purchasing. Did most of your items come from private collections? Did you buy any on auctions? A little of everything?
A little of everything. Auctions. And I would go, I still love to go to antique malls, yard sales, estate sales. That's part of the fun, is the hunt, because you never know what you're going to find.
Sure.
And every once in a while, you'll find that diamond in the rough out there. Like I've heard you guys mention on the show before, there's still pieces out there that have yet to be discovered. So that's really exciting. And that's what I love about it too.
Well, Dan, we just, I know he's I'm going to quote, friendly competitor of yours, but, there was just a major find with another T206 Wagner.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's just continuous.
It's going to continue when we're long gone. It's going to continue for hundreds of years because you have all these collectors that are so attached to things, and eventually it gets passed on and things get found. Topps printed X amount of cards, but let me tell you, a lot keep resurfacing. A lot keep, they keep coming back into auctions. There are finds where, people have passed on, and there are many, many abasements that are filled, I'm sure, to this day, with stuff. And especially, Tracy, it's a good problem for you with your stuff because, yeah, you can't really find that much anymore. It's kind of tough. but you bought in at the right time. And secondly, when you do find this stuff, it's like a diamond in the rough, like you said. It's a great addition. It's an exciting new next addition to your collection. So you've amassed at the right time, and it's a thorough collection. It's beautiful. I looked at your whole website, extensively, and you're the man with the history. Like you said, you've got bats from each decade. You could, do a lot more with this. I think you could possibly get someone local to maybe open up a museum, take all that out and relocate it, and really share the history with kids and little league teams and stuff like that.
Trace, can you take us on a little tour if you could, because it's just, folks, when you see this gentleman's collection in his home, it's like, are you kidding me?
Okay, I'm gonna start over here with this is the and hopefully see everything.
And Danny, jump in here anytime.
This is a timeline of my catcher's equipment.
Jeez.
And this and Dan was mentioning about sharing. That's one thing I've done, Dan, a little bit through loaning my memorabilia for exhibit.
Cool.
I've loaned pieces to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
Wow.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. This case right here has some very early baseballs in it. Some of the lemon peel, some of the gusset style. These are all handmade up here on this top row. This is a trophy ball right here. Those are really tough. That's from the 1870s. And also, I love the old photographs too. One photograph you guys might find kind of cool is this one right here. This is the Columbus Panhandles team from 1907. And the gentleman in the middle here, that's Joe Carr. He's in NFL.
Oh, yeah. Football owner, right?
He was the manager of that baseball team. And Joe Carr was from here in Columbus. Yeah.
Didn't he have something to do with the NFL as well?
Yeah, he helped found the NFL. The NFL headquarters was here in Columbus for a few years, right on Broad and High, right across from the Capitol.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Joe
Let me
Carr
ask you one quick question about the when people, see these lemon peel baseballs in auctions. Can you explain lemon peel? Like, is it literally dried up lemon peel, or is that what they name it after because it's tough leather? Is it aged?
What that it's a style that the leather was cut from. It kind of like when it's unfolded, it is in the shape of like a lemon style. If you would cut it in the quarters, and then it's stitched together, so it's one piece of leather that's stitched together to the center,
like a lemon peel shape.
When they stitch it.
Yeah, just the type of stitching.
And
here's some
we're having a little bit of struggle here.
We're having a little difficulty, Trace. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir. I can hear you fine.
Okay. Go ahead. Continue. We're good.
Yes. This is a kind of a timeline of my baseball gloves from the 1890s, about the 30s. And they really started, baseball gloves really wasn't made for catching the ball. It was for protection. One of the first players to wear a glove was the catcher for Candy Cummings. His name was Nat Hicks. And Candy Cummings supposedly was one of the first pitchers to throw the curveball. And prior to that, the catchers would stand behind the home plate about 10 or 15 feet, and they would catch the ball on the bounce. Well, when Cummings started throwing the curveball, it would bound away from his catcher. And he had to come up with an idea to come in closer and catch the ball on the fly. So when he did that, he started getting hurt. His hands started getting hurt. He started getting injuries. And he came up with the idea to take a workman's glove, cut the fingertips off of it, and use that for protection for his hand so he could catch the ball on the fly with Cummings. And
so Hicks is the one? Hicks is the one that pretty much invented the glove.
He came up with it. That's him right there with the big mustache.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is a scorecard from Cummings. It's printed score. I don't know how well you can see it.
Yeah, we can.
It's from the Capitoline grounds in Brooklyn.
Did he? Is it signed?
It's signed by the keeper, but Cummings' name is on there. He's like fifth in the lineup. It's a printed scorecard. It's amazing. It's from 1871, and that's one of my really, really prized possessions as well.
Look at
It's a
that.
Hall of Fame mustache right there.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's a Raleigh.
Here's some of the uniforms, the Civil War style. These are original wool, almost impossible to find now. You just can't find these styles, especially the early 1880s,
Wow.
1890s uniforms. And I wanted to create that timeline fashion in my collection so that people could see how the uniform styles changed throughout the years.
Is that Universal Studios in the middle right there?
It's not Universal Studios. No, that actually came from when I purchased that, it's from a town in Pennsylvania, and It was a mining town. It was a mining league. It was like a uniform from this mining league team, and they sent me box scores they cut out of the newspaper of the team, which was really cool to have with the uniform. So that's how I was able to identify where that uniform came from.
Hey Dan, I'm gonna interject a couple of questions here while we're looking at Tracy's collection.
Sure.
Okay, so based on what you're seeing and based on what you guys have sold in the past, make a comparison, because JP has a wonderful collection. He's got an extremely valuable collection, but these game used bats, is there a market for them at your auction level? Now, I mean, these are not. I'm assuming, Tracy, these are all game used bats, correct? Or are they not?
Model.
Not all of them, no. And when you're talking about the vintage bats like these, the ring bats, the Spalding, the old the Wright and Ditson, it's really hard to identify what player used these bats.
Yeah.
These are mainly this part of my collection right here. These bats are basically a timeline of bats from the 1860s, 70s to the turn of the century.
You don't necessarily know who the player was that used them.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And Tom, just to point something out, and I know Tracy knows this, there are a lot of turn of the century players that if they didn't have their like they cracked their bat and they were waiting for another one, they would literally go into the store and buy a bat. It could have their name on it on the facsimile. And I'm sure you know that too. But like for the viewers that are watching, and you can't prove it. You can't prove it. Like you could get their style and you can get the bat marks and the bat. They didn't have bat racks, back then, but you could get, their style and the way where the balls hit, on the bat. But Tracy could be sitting on something. Unfortunately, we can't prove it. That, if you have a name bat, that could actually have been used by that player.
Gotcha. Tracy, do you allow people into your home to view this amazing collection? Sit down. Let's chat for a while. I mean, do you allow, groups or, little league groups like Dan mentioned, or professional groups to come in?
I do. I love sharing my collection. I feel like, why have something if you can't enjoy it? And I've heard you guys talk about different pieces, different folks' collections. So, what do you do with things? Do you put it away? Do you hang it up? Do you put it in a safety deposit box? And of course, some of the cards that you guys have talked about, you got to protect them. But when my son was young, he played travel baseball, and at the end of every year, we would host the baseball team and have a cookout, have all the players and their families over. And my son Trevor, he just have all of his friends over, and we would bring them downstairs and I think the dads enjoy it more than the sons did,
Oh,
actually.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but I love sharing my collection. I do a lot of, I've put together some PowerPoint presentations. I love talking about the history of the game, the origins, the equipment, and I take pieces and set up too at different events. Time and time again, I'll do that just so that people can see something. It's one thing to look at a picture or to see something on TV or something like that, but to actually hand a baseball glove from the turn of the century and say, here, put that on your hand. This is what they used. You know, it's just to see their face, you know, they're just like in awe.
Very cool.
So I like to share my collection, and I have friends come over and family members time and time again, you know, to see the collection. Yes.
Hey, before we take a break, Dan, you know, JP took Ellen and I on a virtual tour of the vault with his collection.
Oh, it's
I mean, it's jaw-dropping.
It's insane. And back to what Tracy said, like people want to feel touch, they want to hold it. Amazingly enough, when I started playing Little League, probably 10, 11 years old, I pitched and I played first and third. I purposely, because I was also collecting baseball cards, I found an old glove at a garage sale. I bought it for like $1. I actually played in the game with it. I wish I had photos, because then it was probably like 1982 I was playing with it at 11 years old, and the glove was from like the 1930s. I just wanted to play with that glove in one game.
Very cool.
People want to feel it.
Yeah. Just before we take a break, JP, he needs to do something with that collection as far as the museum goes.
Yeah, we have a walk-in vault, and our whole plan over the years was to make that a museum. It's become such a storage unit for our auctions.
I mean, it was jaw-dropping. Ellen and I kept saying, "Are you kidding?" I mean, Trace, just you can appreciate this. He's got a lot of Babe Ruth, a lot of Lou Gehrig, but not just like a Lou Gehrig ball. Like one of the items he showed us is
the autograph book.
No, well, the autograph book we saw, which was cool, but the thing that was really cool was he's got a check signed by Lou Gehrig, made out to the hotel next door to the Mayo Clinic the morning after he was diagnosed with ALS. He was checking out. I mean, he's got stuff like that, man.
And I'll tell you one thing, but like you said before we go to break, one thing I got to stress to people out there, it doesn't matter what you pay. You know how many times JP has overpaid for things? It's because of scarcity, because there will always be a buyer later on, but good luck in trying to get it out of his hands.
Great point. All right, so we're going to take a break. We come back. We have another CJ moment, and then we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the huge auction coming up at Memory Lane. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but Ellen and I are coming up to your facility in June.
Nice.
With our photographer to do the photo shoot for the cover.
So very cool.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun with it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Hang in there. We shall be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucy'slovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and Tracy Martin and Danny Wulkan are in the house with us. Dan's having what are you having, Dan? An energy bar or something? Everything all right? Dan, you okay?
Oh, yeah.
You sure?
It's been so busy here, you could not even imagine.
Yeah,
we're doing videos for our website. This is something totally new where everybody's doing videos and pulling
I've seen a couple that
on Facebook.
That JP has done. I've seen a couple. Actually, tell him, honestly, you should be doing them. Tell him to back out. You've been on the camera a million times. All right.
Every day has to be an adventure at Memory Lane, doesn't it, Dan?
God.
I'll tell you, there could be a new TV show coming up with just me and one other individual that I've been approached.
I don't know why you don't. I've always wondered that. I mean, you were fabulous on Pawns. How long were you on Pawn Stars for?
5 years. I did 50 episodes over 5 years.
You were great. I think you'd be great at it. Just keep JP off camera. All right, it's time for another Crackerjack moment brought to us each week by our friend Paul Borges and PB Collectibles. Go to pbcollectibles.com for that special vintage card at an amazing price. Louis, I got to tell you, Paul called me yesterday from Florida.
Yeah.
He's looking for a second location in Florida now because he's like, he doesn't want to come home. But anyway.
I don't blame him.
All right. This week's Crackerjack, and again, I've said this over the weeks. The reason we're doing Crackerjack Moments is because our illustrious book distributor found 4 cases of books that we thought were sold out 4 years ago, and we want to get rid of them. So you can go on tomzapplermedia.com to purchase the book. I think it's like half price or something, but we've got, I think we have like 2.5 cases left. Anyways, this week's, one of my favorite players in the Crackerjack collection, Chief Myers. One of the more captivating players of the Crackerjack collection, John Tort's Chief Myers, was a man of many talents who made his mark on our national pastime. A Native American from the Cohiga tribe, Myers attended Dartmouth College in 1905 and did very well academically. When Dartmouth officials discovered that he never completed high school, they offered him admittance if he would complete a prep program instead. Prep program. Instead, Myers signed with Harrisburg of the Tri-State League and was on his way to becoming one of the best catchers of the dead ball era. As he worked his way up through the minor league ranks, dealing with the racism that was prevalent at the time, Myers' experience in the Northwestern League and the American Association was difficult, to say the least. His persistence and hard work paid off, and in 1909, he made the New York Giants team. After getting his feet wet the first year, Chief Myers, as he became known, developed into the best hitting catcher in baseball. In 1911, he batted .332, and in 1912, not only batted .358, but his .441 on-base percentage led the league. For 3 consecutive years, Myers was a candidate to win the Chalmers Award as the most valuable player. From a defensive standpoint, he was better than average and worked very well with his pitches. As his popularity increased, Myers played the vaudeville circuit in the offseason, demonstrating pitching and catching techniques with his battery mate, Christy Mathewson. Outside of the diamond, Myers was considered an intellectual who frequented museums and enjoyed engaging in political debate. Going into the 1915 season, the wear and tear of catching began to take its toll, and Myers' skill began to diminish. He spent the 1917 between Brooklyn and Boston while joining the U.S. Marine Corps to serve in World War I.
Wow.
Upon his return, Myers played and managed in the minors until 1920. After leaving the game, he served as police chief and later worked as an Indian supervisor for the Department of the Interior. And that's another Crackerjack moment.
To go to tomzapplermedia.com/Crackerjack Collection to order your copy of the Crackerjack Collection, Baseball's Prize Players. This great book will give you a glimpse into the personal and professional lives of the players in this iconic collection. That's the Crackerjack Collection, on sale now at 30% off, Tom?
Yeah.
30% off the regular retail price. Now you can find that at tomzapplermedia.com/Crackerjack Collection.
All right. We are back with Tracy and Dan. Hey, Danny, so let's talk about the auction. You've got a big winter rarities auction coming up. Opens up the 2nd. When does it close, Dan?
Preview opens up the 2nd, and then it goes live on the 5th, and it ends January 31st. Obviously, we have the ends at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the 15-minute rule. But I'll tell you, I'm gonna have, these are hot off the press, these catalogs. So everybody's gonna be getting them in the mail soon, and I'm gonna kind of go through and point out a couple. I mean, we've got a bunch of T206s in the auction. We've got a PSA 8 Cobb with, like I said before, bat on shoulder in an 8. And then we have, and there's 2 variations, because there's a Sweet Caparel 350 25 and a 350 30, both PSA 8s. Getting into some memorabilia, we've got a really cool check. It's a Chicago Cubs payroll check to Grover.
Tracy, pay attention to these now.
Bid big and bid often.
A catalog.
I'm sorry?
We have to have Dan send my wife a catalog.
Absolutely.
Gift ideas.
Dan, let me tell you something
Wait
about
a
your
second,
catalog.
Send it to the wife?
Oh yeah, she's going to go through it. She's going to make the choice. But Dan, I got to tell you about your catalogs. They are spectacular, and they make amazing bathroom reading.
Oh yeah, it's funny you say that because
Dead
I
serious.
met someone very, very well known who told me that was his peace of mind when he could leave the living room where someone else was, and he didn't even have to go to the bathroom, but he'd get in the bathroom, and he'd had that. May he rest in peace. He had that catalog right there, and I'm like,
more.
Great. That's why he ended up reaching out to us with his game used collection.
Right.
And he had some amazing, amazing stuff. So we've got Ruth's home run. Well, back to the Chicago Cubs payroll check. A payroll check signed to Grover Alexander.
Oh, wow.
So, and keep in mind this check was from 1919. So I think he was in World War I and came back. And then I think this was when he signed it, when he started playing again. So we've got that. We've got a baseball signed by Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, and a bunch of others. We actually have something for you, Tom, a Christine Mathewson signed canceled check.
Okay. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. But check this out. How about a Bears-Packers 1939 program?
Wow.
It was played at Gilmore Stadium, signed on the front by Curly Lambeau and Jim Thorpe.
Wow.
Among like Don Hudson and George Hallis. And
now let's talk about that piece. Did that piece come from one private collector, Dan?
It was passed down to him. He was local. He talked to a couple of our competitors and felt very comfortable with us, came over, and next thing you know, it's in our auction. So this is a fresh to the hobby item.
Yeah.
Total. You know what else we have, which is really cool? I want to show you a photo of this. And Tracy, you might really love this. It's a hat signed by Babe Ruth.
Okay.
Wow.
But if it's really cool because it's one of his, top hats that he wore. And there are photos of him out there, with that hat. So another cool thing we have is a 65 Power Memorial high school ticket.
Whoa.
In a PSA 8 with the program from the original consigner who was at the game. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they lost that game. They won the first one in 64.
Wait a second. Who were they playing? Do you remember?
DeMatha.
Let me tell you something. Just a little backstory about Power Memorial, that team.
Yeah.
One of my college roommates was the 7th man on that team.
No way.
Yeah, Steve Donahue. And then he went on to coach at, I think, Long Island University. But that was the Alcindor team.
Correct.
And then Steve, my college roommate, wound up the last head coach at Power Memorial before they closed down.
No way. You got to ask him if he has stuff or if he knows some of the players from way
He's
back.
got tons of stuff, but that
he's working all the time. He's working.
Yeah,
that Power Memorial, man, Louis, that Power Memorial team, that was.
They were 71-0 before they lost
in
65.
So I mean, great team.
71-0. Other items that we have, some items that we got from the Tom Candiotti collection. A game used Jerry Rice jersey. Tom was really close with a lot of athletes, a lot of sports personalities, and they loved him. So the fact of the matter that he was able to become friends with Joe Montana, John Elway, and they would ask him, they would say, "Hey, Tom, you want to swap jerseys?" Back then it was like no big deal. So he just, he collected this stuff, and I'm not saying he hoarded it, but everybody wanted his stuff, so he traded a lot when he played.
You do know, Dan, you do know the backstory in his card collection.
Oh, I do.
Tom Candiotti,
Oh, God.
you can read it in the Diamondbacks book. The Diamondbacks collection, the 50 greatest cards in existence.
A
large part of that collection at one time belonged to Tom Candiotti. And I don't know if you know that, but then he sold part of it to Ken Kendrick.
Right. Yeah. And I remember being on the plane when we had all the cards in one sleeve in a PSA box.
God.
Bringing them to Ken. So we've got a 1910 postcard of Walter Johnson, the big train. It's the Wiser Wonder postcard. Shoeless Joe Jackson, a PSA 4.5, a 1915 Cracker Jack, number 103.
Tracy, that belongs right in your museum there.
It absolutely.
Yeah,
does.
there's a lot of Cracker Jack cards, a bunch of caramel cards, a Gowdy Ruth in a PSA 6, a rookie Spawn, the PSA 9, the 48 leaf, a 48 leaf Jackie and an SGC 6. Just a ton of rookies like Satchel Paige and Yogi Berra. There's a big mantle collection that we got of some really, really rare mantle pieces. So
Steve is asking if there's any signed mental cards in the upcoming.
By the way, you know Steve Lane, don't you, Dan? Do you know Steve?
Yeah.
Steve is looking for a.
I know. I just got a call yesterday. 52 tops.
52 tops signed mantle. He's on the hunt for one.
Yeah, a friend of mine just texted me 2 days ago. You got to find one for me. So we're actually on the lookout. But that's funny. What a small world that he just, is asking.
He's driving me nuts. I said, Steve, you're really asking the wrong guy.
Right. But we do have a PSA 7 51 Bowman Mantle rookie. And like I said before, as far as Mantle rookies are concerned, we've got a PSA 5, an SGC 5.5, another Mantle rookie and a PSA 2. And we have unopened packs. We've got signed cards, a massive amount of 1953 tops, including a PSA 8.
Well, there's one card. There's one card you have not mentioned that I kind of piqued my interest. Don't you have a signed Larry Bird, Dr. J, that rookie card?
A PSA 9 with 10 autos.
Holy cow!
Right?
Yeah.
The three autos are signed, and it's a 10 on the autos, and it's signed by all three players.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty stellar. That's really stellar. I actually could show you a photo of that.
Yeah, I mean that's are you kidding?
That's incredible.
Yeah. But we have I'll tell you a quick story. I was at this show in Chicago, and there are many a times where people will ask us, you pull the card and we'll pay you, big money for it. And we can't pull a card. The card, it's in print. It's got to go. It's got to be sold. It's got to be sold. That's it. So the card I was pushed on was a BGS 9 Jordan Star 101 card. Now the minimum bid is 25 grand. That's nothing. It's going to surpass it like crazy.
Yeah.
My guess, I don't know. I think the last one went for 150, 160. My guess is that our card, based on the height, based on the scarcity, based on how much in demand it is, I bet you that card goes for $250,000. I'll just tell you right now, we were offered a substantial amount of money to the consignor and then our cut. And, true to our auctions, the card has to stay in and they can bid on it. But I've never been pushed to the limit where, and I get it. Like if someone really wants the card, they'll pay anything for it. 2 people were offering astronomical numbers for this card. Maybe they think it's going to cross over to a PSA 9.
Well, it could. It really could.
But we have people coming here to inspect it. It's like inspecting a $10 million home. It's like, come on, man. Like it's a card, but I guess it fills their whole run.
Tracy,
that must make for a tough decision for the seller at this point when he's getting those bids.
Yeah. But the seller wanted to keep it in. And in addition to that, it just has to stay in. The thing went to print. So it's
right. Tracy,
a card like that.
Do you ever get offers for your memorabilia? People that say, "Hey, I'd like to buy this."
Oh yeah, yeah. Quite a few. I've had people reach out to me, and they'll see something that I post online, and next thing I know, I'm getting offers, and I'm sorry, it's not for sale. sold very few pieces in my since I've been collecting. A couple of them I have. There's been a couple of times when people made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Sure.
And it just didn't make, so, but I haven't really sold anything for quite a while, and it just, but they absolutely do, Tom. Yes, absolutely. People reach out to me all the time.
Have you been to the National? Have you ever been to the National?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a guy, a local guy, Lou. I think he's from Massachusetts. I don't know, just outside of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
He loaned us a lot of the memorabilia for the T206 book. I think it's Play OK is the name of his company, and that's all he sells is really, really vintage memorabilia. Some of it, I mean, a lot of it's not game used, like the stuff that you have right there. Play OK Antiques is the name of it, the name of his business. Nice kid. Brett, his name is. Hey Danny.
Tom,
yeah.
You were asking me, just to back up to a question you had on Tracy's stuff. There is 100% a market as far as value. Like Tracy was saying, I don't really sell stuff. It's my collection. He's got so many rare items that if he were to get rid of one here and one there, those would be filling the run of other people's collections. That's how scarce a lot of that stuff is. So there's definitely a market. There's a huge audience for that, whether it's people that are buying for their archives or museums or individual collections. So, down the road, if you're interested, we'd love to, have some of that stuff. But it's the love of the game of collecting.
Absolutely.
Looks like JP. Good luck in trying to get anything out of JP's hands.
Yeah, no, I mean, we saw that. I saw it firsthand when we were touring the vault, and he's just like, no, this is stuff that it means something to me.
Yeah, that's the collector's blood. I look at Kendrick. Years ago we offered Kendrick $25 million for that Wagner that he has, the PSA 8, and you're gonna die when you hear this. He said, "Why would I sell it? Just so that money could visit my other money?"
Exactly, and you're right. I mean, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Next week I have I'm going to connect the dots when tomorrow we're leaving for Florida, and I have a call scheduled with him next Thursday, and the topic is going to be the Wagner, and Ken's got. It's really interesting. I can't talk about it publicly. I'm not going to, but suffice it to say that he knows pretty much the entire history of that one card.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff. Stuff.
Yeah, it's a great story. I think he wanted to write a book on the Wagner.
Yeah, it's just wow. All right, listen, I think we're going to take a break now. We have one more segment. Dan Wulkan from Memory Lane is in the house with us. Danny and Tracy Martin from Martin's Vintage Museum. How's that sound, Trace?
Sounds fantastic, Tom.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. One more segment. Hang in there, and we'll be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you are a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Okay, we're back. Shout out to Nick Gable Jr. and to our good friend Michael Variali. And of course, Dan, who's commenting, looking for a signed Babe Ruth card. Steve Lane.
Name sounds familiar.
Any signed I'm sorry, I said Babe Ruth. I'm sorry.
Mickey Mantle.
Any signed Mantle cards in the upcoming Memory Lane auction? Waiting for the catalog. Steve Lane.
Good question. I don't think we got too many. I don't think we have any Mantle signed cards in this auction.
But I'm sure you're going to find him one.
Definitely not a 52 tops.
But see, you know what Steve's looking for? He's not just looking for. I know, Steve. You can text me if I'm wrong in this. He's not just looking for a signed Mantle card, 52 Mantle. He's looking for a signed period Mantle card. So a 52 Mantle signed like in 52, 53, 54, somewhere around there. Those are hard to come by.
Yeah, the vintage playing day autographs are.
Yeah. Hey, listen now, Louis, why don't you tell and I think you need to listen to this very closely, Tracy. Very, very closely. Why don't you tell us about our good friends at Finkelmeyer?
Well, Tom, the Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 80s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting in Tom Jr., the current president of the Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting, and with a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management. Tom covers every aspect of your collectibles insurance needs. Unlike some companies that sell collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide. Representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance, there's no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than the Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Our good friend and hobby legend John Tobby of JT Sports has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. For more information for your collection, go to thefia.com, THEFIA. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion.
By the way, John Tobby will be joining us next week. Rico and I in Florida. We're going to have a nice show with him.
John is such a great guy.
Oh, John's the best. John
is a great, solid.
Is the best. He really is.
They're all great guys.
Yeah, they are.
Nothing but great guys.
Yeah. If you want to have an absolute blast at obtaining some great modern and vintage cards, you got to check out JRI Cards. Our paisan, Charlie the Iron Ripper Perino, he is such a character, along with Money Marco, the Dollar Girls, and the JRI Gang, give you the chance to participate in opening a graded, unopened, and sealed fresh wax or cello pack of your favorite sport or non-sport favorite. It's easy. You buy in, Charlie opens the pack, and you get a pack. And you get a pack of fresh cards. It's that simple. As a matter of fact, if you pull that special jewel, the guys at JRI Cards will even have it graded for you in the house. Featured in the LA Times, ESPN, and USA Radio, JRI is the hottest card-pulling show on the internet. Charlie and his staff make it fun, entertaining, and enjoyable with his collection of hats, sound effects, and don't forget that JRI Cards donates a part of their proceeds to various charities. That's JRI Cards. Check out their exclusive breaks and events that everyone is talking about. For a great hobby experience, go to jricards.com. Charlie's another guy we're going to be meeting down in Florida. Nice. He's down in West Palm. He's a character. I want to ask both of you guys, what's hot as far as memorabilia? Dan, I know you have your finger on the pulse on the memorabilia end. What's hot in vintage memorabilia right now in the hobby?
Game used. Game used. I'll tell you, I wanted to say this before. Probably 5 years ago, when I was on the show, we were talking about how hot our hobby is, how with, COVID, and it just went through the roof, and there was extra money that people had because they weren't working or going anywhere. I'll tell you, it continues to be a hot market, whether it's vintage game used, whether it's modern game used. That game used bats, game used. This one thing I don't agree with the prices that they're getting. I'm not a fan at all of game used baseballs. If it's a Babe Ruth home run ball, okay. If it's a shot heard around the world, okay. But when it comes to the ball that got stuck in the Dodger Stadium during the World Series at the bottom that changed the world, or this guy's, these modern baseballs that MLB slaps their hologram on.
Of the Rojas Homer, right?
The Rojas Homer.
Yeah,
I mean,
but hold on. The Rojas Homer is that's a little different because that was an iconic game. But I think I see what you're saying, Dan. There's so many out there now that
I'm comparing it to Todd McFarlane, Sosa, and McGuire, and forget about the steroids. Forget about that subject. Let's just say that they're paying millions, and then it's the worst investment, just like a bunch of these modern cards that go for 5, 6, 7 figures and then come down because the next card needs to, people are chasing the next card. So buyer beware.
At that. Trace, what are your thoughts on all that? That whole modern, ultra modern card, one of one, this Steph Curry, Panini purple because his jock strap is a piece of his jock strap is in it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you guys, you might call me a purist, but the first time I heard, I can't remember what year it was when they started doing it.
Cutting up Babe Ruth jersey.
Cutting up baseball bats, a game used bats, Babe Ruth bat, just to have a 1-inch piece of wood and slap it in on a card. I think that's a travesty to destroy any type of memorabilia like that.
I couldn't.
Not a fan of that at all. I don't own any of those pieces. And as far as the new modern cards, it has gotten a lot of kids back involved in card collecting, which is a good thing. But I'm afraid that these companies are taking advantage of the popularity, and it's kind of similar to what happened. What I remember in the late 70s, early 80s, there was a baseball card shop on every corner.
Right.
Growing up. And the card companies saw an opportunity and they started mass producing cards, and it really destroyed the hobby there for a while. So unfortunately, I'm afraid that might be what's happening again in some sort of fashion, but I can remember when I was growing up as a kid, you guys might remember Kit Young cards and Larry.
Oh, sure.
Catalog, and flip through them and order, from Kit Young or Larry Frisch and those guys. That's what it was all about. It was Dan, you mentioned earlier, the passion, the love of collecting and the sport. And it doesn't matter what you collect, so I'm really excited, when my grandkids get a couple years older, taking them to card shows and getting them involved in it.
It is a lot of fun. I was talking to Nat Turner last week for quite a while on the phone, and we were talking about that. And he said to me that he gets a lot of calls and emails that they're starting to see a transition, which is really I find it encouraging. From the young modern collectors, a lot of them now are starting to gravitate towards vintage, which is really encouraging. So I hope that continues. I really do.
Tracy, before
you got to have a little bit of security for these kids, because you have 12, 13, 14-year-old kids walking around with, oh, you want 10,000 cash? I got it. No
I told you that story, Dan. And we were in Cleveland. In Cleveland, Rico and I were having lunch in the hotel lobby, and there were probably 75 kids in there. They were doing their trading, right? They all had their briefcases, and it was fun to watch them going back and forth negotiating. Some of their parents were there, very polite. This kid walks by, couldn't have been more than 14, maybe 15 years old, and he's got a briefcase, and he walked by, and I said, "Hey, how did you do today?" I said, "You have some good cards you bought?" He says, "I don't have any cards. It's all cash. It's all cash." He had about $2,000 worth of cash in his whatever. Louis, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I digress.
I just wanted to ask Tracy before we leave, why don't you audition for Tom's new book? You were talking about going out to find pieces for your collection. What's the first story that comes to mind about pieces that you just found showing up at a yard sale?
You know something? Hold on. Before you tell me, if it's a good story, we'll consider using it.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple. I've got a few. One, I acquired a jersey. It was an online auction. I think I paid $80 for it. And there was nothing mentioned in the description about what I saw when I got the jersey. It was just like a random jersey, and wool, and it had a tag inside the collar of a manufacturer. Nothing special. I just thought it looked neat. And pinstripe, probably 40s era. Well, when I got the jersey, there was a stamp inside the tail, the tail part of the jersey, and it was Hollywood Company, Hollywood, California. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then there was a name written in, and it was Leon Carter, and was written in the jersey. And I'm like, Leon Carter, and there's nobody that ever played Major League Baseball by that name. I thought that was odd. So the only thing that come up was as a baseball movie, Bingo Long and his Traveling All-Stars.
Sure, I remember that movie.
1976, great movie. And Billy D. Williams and Richard Pryor was in. And so I got to looking at the jersey, and my wife, I asked her to order me a copy of the movie, so I watched the movie, and lo and behold, the jersey was the one James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, yeah.
In that movie, I was able to match it. I ordered some lobby cards.
Wow,
that's cool. That's a cool story. That's under consideration.
Okay, but yeah, that and the
one more.
Well, the Mort Rogers card I was telling you about, the scorecard from 1871, and there was names that you mentioned. Harry Wright and
sure.
Albert Spalding was in this, but the Red Stockings disbanded in 1870. They were only around for 69 and 70. So 1871, the Cincinnati Red Stockings wasn't playing anymore. Half the team went to Boston, the Boston Red Stockings, and the other half went to Washington and started the Washington Olympics. And those were the two teams in this card. But I started researching some newspapers from the Cincinnati area on July 4th, 1871. All these teams got together, played one last game. There was newspaper mentions of it, just to thank the fans of Cincinnati. And that's what this scorecard was from.
Oh, wow. That's a cool piece too.
That's a cool piece. So those are a couple that come to mind.
Very nice. All right, listen, we're just about out of time. Dan, when does it start? When does it end?
January 2nd is the preview. It starts January 5th, goes live, bid often and bid big, and it wraps up January 31st, 2026, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. www.memorylaneinc.com. If you have any questions, 877-606-5263.
And don't forget to tell JP we need two more.
You got, and tell Rico we said hi.
I will.
And happy New Year.
Tracy, thanks so much for joining us, man. Very informative. We really enjoyed it. Louis, Happy New Year to you, my friend. I'm not going to see you now till April. I mean, I'm going to see you, but not up front and personal.
Say hi to two drunken goats for me.
I will. This is a local bar that Ellen and I frequent. And to our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for the past year. It has been a great year for the Great American Collectibles Show, and hoping that 2026 is the same, and good health and happiness to everyone. With that being said, happy collecting.
Thanks, Tom.
You're good.